This is for you. I'm gonna switch to English.
Very good.
He speaks Spanish, more or less. He has family in Spain.
Sí.
He defines himself as an optimist,
Yes.
and he thinks this world is the best of the possible worlds we may have, and always good prevails over evil. And he's very confident about the future because he's in the right place. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Buenas tardes. Very excited to be here. In fact, I look at the room and I'm thrilled. I'm very energized to be here in Madrid because of the energy I feel in listening to you, in Leopoldo's address this morning, in Jose Ignacio's walk and tour through everything. So I'm going to try and put some context and some stories to help you take something back. I want everyone to relax, sit back, listen. It's not going to be a challenge, but it will hopefully bring some new ideas to your business to make better business. As I talk about this to understand, my grandparents are from Spain. So my grandmother's family is from Vigo and Galicia. My grandfather's family came originally from, I think he was born in Rojales, down near Murcia. I have family in Alicante. I have a lot of family here in Madrid. I have family in Valladolid. And the nicest thing about it is when I was growing up, my cousins, as we say, nuestros primos, right, would come from Spain to live in the house of my father, and I got to know them growing up. And my children, when they graduate from university, come to Spain for 2 or 3 months to learn the culture and the people. This has given me a great perspective in life, and now my cousins' children come to my house every other year and go to school. And it's just such a neat thing about Spanish people and their beliefs, and in fact, I think it extends to all of Iberia. So again, I thank you, and I'm very excited to tell everyone back at Oracle just how important this market is and what's going on here in Madrid this year. I want to take a moment. I have 7 brothers and sisters. I have 4 children. Right now, unfortunately, there's 4 dogs or perros that live in my house. Yikes, right? And it is very important as my father-in-law lives with me. My mother-in-law has passed away. My parents live nearby. I take care of them. There's a big obligation to take care of the planet, to take care of everywhere we are. And my wife and I thought a lot about we would like to have smaller carbon footprint. We would like to be better to the ecology and to the world. So when it came time to get a new car, because my cars go through all my children and then they break, we thought about getting an electric vehicle, and would that meet our needs? And this is a very common electrical vehicle now. It comes from Audi. And the story of how we got to this is not unlike anyone in this room or all of your potential customers, regardless if your business is direct to consumer or B2B or B2C. In fact, a quick show of hands. Is your business primarily B2B? Okay. Primarily B2C? Okay. And both? Who's a big achiever? Both? I like this. Because the journey that we went on to do this is probably not unlike any of you, right? So the idea is, when we decided it was time to get a new car, we were replacing a very big SUV, very American, very big car, and it burns a lot of gas. So the idea was, let's go take a look, and we started in conversation with our friends, like everybody else would, you know, in the evening and in the afternoon. And going from talking to friends out to Tesla. Tesla is a very common electric vehicle, it's very popular. The next thing was to go out and actually look at what do other data stores, what do other magazines advise, what do other people say, what do other comparatives do. And you'll notice each time I'm saying, what was the signal? What's the signal? What's my behavior indicating what we're doing? And this idea of signals is becoming very, very important because more and more it's along this idea. Oh, I keep looking at Ferraris. That's my private dream. That's not my wife's dream. I would like to have a very fast car. As we continue along, as these stories go, eventually I decided towards an Audi, and it meant going out to still more checking, an all-electric. So you can start to see, I'm looking at electric cars, we're looking at very affordable cars, very expensive cars. Once again, back to my strangely I wish. going to different sites. Nobody can plan a customer journey like this because the customer, the consumer, is the innovator. I'm choosing how I go. There's no way your business can say, no, the journey looks like this, because I'm spending time with lots of different brands. One final check. My wife said no again. And then I've given off the signal that it looks like it's Audi for sure. Going to the Audi near my headquarters, we come, we make a discussion, and the next thing I'm starting to think about is the financing and how we're going to afford it and where we go and what we've said. You see across the board, right, that the purchase was here at Audi in Burlingame, and we were different dealers as we were going, and I'm accumulating all of the different signals that are, yeah, I know I keep thinking, maybe one day. But now let's pause. We purchased an electric, actually it's a hybrid was what we wound up with. It's gas and electric. We purchased about, now 4 months ago. What has changed though is every day I sign on to the internet, I'm hit with, once again, what would you like to buy? I've already bought. Even from the brand owner, from what I bought, they still send me ads every day, everywhere I go, in my mobile, in my laptop, when I'm at home, when I'm at work. And I'd like to ask the question, when did customer experience change to just targeting? Just targeting and retargeting and retargeting. And all of us have this experience. It's rather annoying. When did businesses stop listening? Right? I gave off a lot of signals, and the smarter ones grab the signals sooner, respond to me quicker, and really personalize. But now I'm trapped in a world where I think forever I'm going to see car commercials, and I'm not going to be buying a car again for a very long time. At least I hope not. Right? At Oracle, we think that data being used correctly avoids this problem, and it would make for a better experience. Which brings us to this idea that data, it produces signals, and when we use data with experience, we are much better off. This is the experience economy. We have explored in the past that the experience economy has a couple of driving principles. So just simple things to point out that actually mean quite a bit. First of all, the experience of using the product or service is actually more important than owning it, right, than receiving it. It is the experience and how we communicate it. Second, that just like my journey, it was very nonlinear. It was very time-based, right? There was lots of signals that could have been captured, and some people captured them well, and then we went ahead. And finally, the car brands are not the innovators. It's us. It's individuals. It's all of us. We have the power to be the innovator. So businesses that are doing better, that are driving forward, that will be more sustainable going forward, are businesses that recognize this experience economy exists, and then they personalize very quickly using data to look at signals. And we all come ahead from this. Now, I don't just want to come up here and tell you nice stories. To back up this kind of thing, Oracle went out and conducted a research. And actually what we found is that 43%, I know it says 1/3 here, but 43% of consumers will walk away from a brand after just one bad experience. You can imagine all the people that keep retargeting me and aren't paying attention are on my blacklist, right? This happens to all of us, whether we are B2B or B2C, right? Another very interesting study is, what about the age of the people? Everyone thinks it's different by age, and yet I fall into this group, right? I'm the boomer. I'm willing to pay more if you take your brand and make it secure and make it easier for me. If you bundle multiple services together and it gets less complicated, I'll pay more. But interestingly, it's not just me, it's actually millennials will do exactly the same thing, right? We're starting to see, if you have a business, and maybe it involves multiple steps. If you consider valor from the eyes of the consumer or the buyer, it has to do looking backwards. What else could you do to make the experience better? And it works across all age groups, across the ones in the middle and in the even younger. At the end of 2017, when we first introduced the concept of experience economy, we just laid out for people to think, how does your potential buyer discover your service, and how does your marketer discover someone's looking? That's the first step in discovery. The second, how easy have you made it for people to engage with your brand? You know, our friends at Google say that there is a 0 moment of truth because of this. It's not the first moment when they become aware of your brand. It's not the second moment when they choose it and recommend it. It's the 0 moment when in between meetings, you quickly look for them. If you can't have your brand found easily in the 0 moment of truth, you're not engaging well. So engagement really is about rapid and easy response with discovery. Engagement means, just like my journey to buy a car, I learned everything I could before I talked to a salesperson, right? All of us do this all the time. The idea of consuming a product or a service becomes very important when we think about changing the way we bill people. Subscription services, making it easier for people to consume, means that Oracle is having to change even the way we are doing our business. And all of us see it with our telephonos and with the cloud itself, right? We change the way we consume based on subscription. The last idea, as I speed up, is around service. Service should be proactive. I should tell you when there is an outage. I should know if you're looking for something, I don't have it at this store, but I have it at that store. I should know that you would rather I ship it to you. As much proactive service as possible is proving to be the winning strategy at every company. So this is how we first looked at it. 6 months later, we said it's actually now a race against time. As we see more and more companies and more brands do this well, who does it fastest? How agile can you be? How quickly can you respond? Now, we're talking about signals, right? If you recognize the signals, if you recognize a buyer's intent, and you personalize to that individual, you win with the lowest reaction time. This idea of taking the experience economy, we're already inside of 18 months at our 3rd iteration of our strategy and our ability to help you execute in this fashion. When we think of a market vision then, to put it all together, looking at it from the customer's point of view, marketing itself should just basically be woven into the normal process of the day, right? It should not have to stand out as an independent category. The idea that service has got to actually be proactive, it also means if I know as the brand owner something is going wrong, I should fix it ahead of time. And obviously when you go up and see the demonstrations around the Internet of Things or IoT, there's an awful lot of our clients that are doing better and better by being proactive with self-healing through IoT, right? It's the idea that a digital sale that occurs should occur whenever the customer wants it to occur, which means starting to think about synchronizing our commerce channels, right? More conversions, again, happen in this format than anything else at all. But I have multiple systems and ways of doing commerce. So in the experience economy, it's as important to make sure that your systems perform in a manner that's similar as it is to create a new one or to scrap an old one. All of this needs to happen in real time, and that's back to signals. We've then said, okay, how do we look at the portfolio of the solutions that can help you achieve these kinds of goals? And the first one, again, we've heard about twice today, I think is very important. Let's talk about the fact that in business, it's about operating from end to end. I would like the front office and the back office to know about each other all the time. I would like the handoff from the sales and into service through an order to be seamless. It's been a very big challenge for all of the different software suppliers to come to an integrated front office and back office. When the integrated front office and back office happens to be in the cloud, primarily it defines it's Oracle. Oracle's the only large applications provider that brings a front office and a back office to the cloud on a single platform. The business value that truly represents has to do with security and lowering your risk. It has to do with speed and processing your response to a client. If I can do all of that, then all of these areas where we invest come alive at the application layer where you actually make business. So getting things right so you can be rooted in data, but consistent in execution in the front and the back, we believe is actually the key to where business is headed and can help all of us here. The second area we think that most people think of Oracle in integration or analytics or in applications, or most people think of us in the autonomous database and self-healing, but technology is not what's the issue. It's your business model. It's how do you create value, how do you capture value, Who do you capture value from? And I can't even think about these business model issues if I'm having these systems issues. So we are working on solving these things so you can focus, again, on how the business gets made. As we go forward, you'll hear throughout the day, whether you're talking to my colleagues in the technical side of our business or the application side, it's all business. That means we are making our solution sets self-healing, self-applying of fixes, notifying ahead of time of outage or problem, repair on the fly. This category is the most important for all companies and all systems going forward, right? The next step would be, maybe I should tell you about a customer. Vertiv makes a B2B product that actually powers networks. What they decided to do was to integrate their field service and their dispatch when they send technicians back with their ERP system and their supply chain management system. The Oracle solution then makes sure that when a truck goes out to solve a problem, we're sending the right person with the right skill sets that have the right parts on the truck, and we're keeping track of all of it so that it appears seamless. There's nothing worse in the consumer's eyes than if you come to their house or if you come to their place of business and you sent the wrong person and you don't have the right parts. We're thinking about how to make our systems easier to consume, and with someone like Vertiv, we've recombined them. This idea of subscription and subscription management that I mentioned before takes all of the different capacities of Oracle and repackages it so you don't buy the system, you can now subscribe to it, and you can add a service to an existing product. We think more and more of our customers are headed here. Most of you would know one of them with a very global name, but it's actually a very traditional business. It's called Motorola, right? They didn't start with everything, but one at a time, step by step, to improve their responsiveness to their clients and to offer new services. You can see I put a little plus. They've added IoT. They added their ERP system. They've added their performance system. They've added how they do revenue management and recognition from clients, right? Motorola today sells the radios that police use, that fire people use, that's the first responder. Their business has changed dramatically. They're no longer making all the telephones. They stayed in the old world and the business moved. Their response was to say, what do we do well and how can we start stepping into the experience economy? How can we use data? And you can see one step at a time in a series of different projects, plus one, they keep getting better, and once again, they are healthy and vibrant. And a brand that went stale has come back alive, and their latest addition is subscription. Now they're saying even the police and the fire departments will be subscribing and not paying for these systems up front. It means that every city that struggles with a budget is better off because of what Motorola is doing. This is an example of understanding the future and then responding to it today. We're very excited to partner with them on this. If I was to think in a view of what's inside of this Oracle category of solutions, at its base level, it all runs on a platform where we provide a variety of capabilities that serve everything above it. The next step would be we always talk about connecting data. We talk about connecting data, intelligence, and experience. Connecting the data means looking at the different data types. There's obviously profile data about a customer, a company, or a person, and can we take it, as Jose Ignacio said, to an individual? Can we think about it at the individual level? From there, can we add behavioral, sensor, external, operational data? Can we create a very rich profile, greater than any single application? The answer is yes. Once we've connected the data, one of the truly differentiating things that we are doing is to think about how do we connect intelligence so the answer is consistent across touch point, whether it's face-to-face, whether it's on a phone, whether it's at a branch, whether it's in a kiosk. It shouldn't matter. If it's at home, all of this data should always be then treated with the same level of intelligence, and in doing so, I can start to bring it to the connected experience. It means that for any one of these application areas around marketing, sales, service, commerce, advertising, it's consistent. And all of us expect a consistent, rapid response. And we think about how the content works. So this is another way to think of all of the topics that we address. It's a very broad definition. of how we go forward. As we step through this, the next thing is, how do I take data and change the way the applications perform in a rapid fashion? We actually thought a lot about this and went out and acquired a company that specifically focuses on not the human individual, but the business, and thinking about a business entity just like an individual. The solution set is called DataFox, and what DataFox does is it builds a profile of a company, and it tells you how a company would react. It tells you what other companies it is like. It thinks about size, small, medium, and large, and how you define it. It thinks about industry and what other companies in other industries look like. It thinks about geography, right? In doing so, it brings in lots of different data types and lots of different signals. And it allows you then to make quicker and better decisions. So one way that you would see this come out into the world is, yes, there's lots of new data that's brought, but the data is brought to the execution with a client. The client I want to talk to you about is SurveyMonkey. All of us get surveys, right? SurveyMonkey as a business had multiple CRMs and was trying to figure out how to create a consistent experience and was not in a position to change out every CRM right away. So it became a process of a consolidation and another one and another one. What DataFox does at the desktop is it actually provides the same AI-based answers, regardless of which CRM they're in, to guarantee an experience that looks the same to the end person receiving the survey. In doing so, SurveyMonkey's business has doubled, and their response from customers has gone up. So their net promoter scores move up when you implement a solution like this that's thinking about the connected experience. Another way that we're changing, again, Jose Ignacio spoke about Redwood. Project Redwood for Oracle says that the user interface should be delightful. It says it should be in context and it should be modern. It affects the employee as much as the customer. So Oracle has spent a lot of time and effort rethinking through what we stand for and what we believe in, and taking very much into our heart this idea that the experience matters. So today, people are used to systems in their mobile. They flow, they're easy. I can swipe, I can move, I can jump up and stay down. It keeps a context. As Jose said, every one of our applications is now going through this transformation. We think it signals that we are very much listening to where we think our customers are taking us, but most importantly, where the customer as the innovator is going. So in an example like this, when I touch one of the tiles, I suddenly get much more of a context. Colin has come into a website, he's looked at something, and when I present the business issue for someone to deal back to Colin, we consolidate data out of multiple systems, we put it forward in a very straightforward, very clean user interface, and then we begin the interactions to actually start a dialogue going back and forth. This idea of then saying who else in our enterprise might be able to work with us on this is something that we can do because of the connected data underneath. So you start to see when the goal is the connected experience, we begin with the connected data, we use this intelligence layer, we've pushed it into a new user experience, a new employee experience, and we've brought out a better result set to work with a customer. In the last moment or two, I just want to talk a little bit about this CX Unity, the idea of a customer intelligence platform. This idea that Oracle has said, I want to connect the data out of the marketing area or the front office, out of the back office and the transaction area, out of the social and third-party data types, and in the behavioral types. If I do this in real time, I will get ahead. So we have built a solution around this called CX Unity. CX Unity connects all of these things and brings it through. This strategy for us, let me just build this out quickly, is more than a data lake. Every client and customer that I visit says, well, we are building a data lake. Well, we have connected ideas. Well, we are using predictive. It's hard when you're building one piece here and one piece there and one piece here and one piece there to put it all together, right? Oracle has hundreds and hundreds of engineers working on this full time, larger than any single company can, to build the stack so it's pre-integrated. So I get asked all the time, how is this different? Why is this unique? And it's unique because it's the completeness of all of it, but it's put together in such a way that you can use it right away as a utility rather than take months and years to build, but to bring it forward. It stands on this idea, again, of extending the customer master, unifying it to the level that I know everything about the potential individual, enriching it, thinking about how to do it in real time, and bringing together the efforts that are made, not only in the marketing, but also the advertising. I want to emphasize to you, we didn't just happen to do this, that it happened over a series of years. We have looked to the best capabilities everywhere in the world, and from all the corners of all the continents, we have found solutions to bring to this data cloud. So when your Oracle partner says to you, there's this important data cloud, it's not just a repository of data, it's all of these capabilities that you see being made accessible simultaneously to work on the business model issue you have at hand. It's really quite amazing. From there, we then say, okay, once again, a view of it. We come to this idea of the master itself, holding it. We think about the solutions that fit in for enriching, whether it's B2B or B2C. We think about the different intelligence layers and how they have to live in this domain, and we think of then all the other components that we bundle together so you can use it as a utility. It's really an area that's worthy of further discussion, and I ask you to reach out to your Oracle colleagues to find out more about how it works. But in doing so, where do I make revenue? Right? Business is about revenue. All of this is required from the data to move over to revenue, and it comes in the form of how you personalize. Real-time personalization, like my experience or journey of buying a vehicle, means that you need to do acquisition, nurturing, and conversion. But the more enlightened thought you heard Jose Ignacio talk to is, can I produce people who are ready to buy rather than just simply things that I nurture? And when you do it, you come out ahead. One of our clients that does this is AT&T. They found from looking at all of the data that when people purchase data services or internet services, they wind up in a very tight window where they make a decision and move. They are using this Unity story, or this Unity solution, to hand off buyers rather than just leads. And their business profits from this dramatically. This is in a B2B sense. There's another example for somebody who makes a physical product, and we're dealing with an automotive manufacturer in India. There, the business model isn't B2B, but rather the business model is B2B to B to C. This is an example where, once again, the signals being used across area drive a better result in a much different type business. I would even tell you about a very small one over in Asia where there's just a couple hundred employees. It's the same thing. Connecting the data, using intelligence, and pushing forward the answer works regardless of size or business model. To summarize, this would be the picture I would take that says, this is why it's different. Here is how Oracle is differentiated 100%. We don't have time to touch all of it, but we do have time for you to ask all day today and every day forward. The concepts of identity, of being open, extensible, speed, scale, to drive intelligence are extremely important. These are the elements that when I work with clients, they don't automatically build into their data lake. This is the uniqueness that Oracle can bring. Thought about it all together, we are now saying that in the experience economy, it's about operating in real time, recognizing a signal, and then acting on it in real time to go ahead and win in business. So with this, I invite you to sit back, get back going, think about if you want to hear more, come visit me in Chicago, in my hometown next March. But more importantly, our next three speakers are all talking to how they've brought this alive and real into their own business. And not with Unity, but rather with the components that are used every day. So I'd like you to take this from the story level to the reality level, and with that, we step forward. Thank you.
Thank you very much.